will talk about SQL command, how we can use SQL command to create a table, then insert some record in the table, and after that retrieve those record from the table. So these are the three major topic of today's class. So let's start with the how to create a table in DBMS using SQL command. So this is a sample table. Table name is worker, and we have different columns in this table. First column is worker ID, second is first name, third column is last name, salary, joining date, and department. So these are the heads of this table, column of this table. So whenever we want to create the structure of the table, so we required three major things. Number one, the table name, then the column name, and the data type of that particular column. These are the three main and basic things which is required to create a table. And rest of these are certain criterias, some constraints, different type of keys like primary and foreign keys. So let's start with the simple table. So to create a table like worker and their heads, we require to use create table command. This command is used to create the structure of the table, so that it is a DDL command. That means data definition command. So for that purpose, use create keyword to create anything. Table, you can use this create command to create views, schemas, forms also. So whatever object you want to create in the database, you can use this create command. So first of all, you have to write create, then I want to create a table. So then write the table keyword. So after writing create and table, system start creating a table. Now you have to write the name of the table. Okay, so this is worker table. So after writing create table, you have to write the table name, that is worker. So after writing these three elements, system will create a table named worker, and there is no heads in the table. So now it's time to define the column heads of that worker table. So after writing create table worker, you have to place a bracket, and in this bracket you have to specify one by one column name and that their data types. So our first column is worker ID. So here I need to write worker ID. After that, use a space and then type the data type. Okay, data type of that particular column. After that, you have to specify the comma. So using this comma, we can separate two columns in the table. So use this comma, then specify the second column name, that is first name, and then using a space, we can specify the data type of this column. So the first name is always a character type data, having the character type data. So we have to enter here varchar data type with the length of 25. You can specify 25, 20, 40, whatever you want. It is just the number of characters we can store in this particular field. Varchar means variable character. That means you can specify any number of character which is less than 25, of course. You can specify any number of character from 0 to 25. So if you enter, suppose 4 character length, so this first name count only 4 characters, not 25. So that's why we can use varchar, that means variable character. Of course, the maximum length of first name field is 25. When I specify here 50, so the maximum length of first name head or column is 50. Now the third column is last name. Again put a comma, then type last name and specify the data type of this field, that is again varchar 25. Put the comma here. Now it's done to specify the next column, that is salary. So type salary here, and see, salary is always in the form of number. So you can specify here integer or int, whatever you can write here. Then specify the length of salary again. So you can type here 15. Then joining date, it is always in a date and time form. So you can specify here date type of data. Okay. Joining date and the data type is date, or you can also use the date and time. If you can use date and time, so it will capture date, current date and current time, both of the values. But when you specify only date, so it will accept only the date section, right? So you can set here date or date and time, both, either of one. Then last column is department. So you can enter department as a column name, then varchar as a data type. After that, you don't specify, there is no need to put the comma. Why? Because there is no further column is here. Okay, so we don't need to specify comma. Just close the first bracket and then put a semicolon. Semicolon is always used to specify the end of the line. And it is also optional. If you want, you can put it here. Otherwise, there is no need to put. So this is all about to design the structure of this table. That means this thing, structure of this table. Create table, then table name, bracket, first column, space, their ID, data type, comma, second column and the data type, comma, third column and the data type. So like that, you can specify, you can write the code SQL command for the table creation. Now, when you execute this command, what is going to happen? It will create a structure like that. Okay. When you just copy and run this command, so you can see empty table in the database. So this is my database worker DB, and here you can see the table worker, and this is my table. You can see here no data is specified because there is no insert command. We did not execute insert command. So there is only structure of the table, right? Now, after creating the structure of the table, we need to insert some row in this table. So I want to insert first row. like this. So the first column, we need to specify worker ID, then first name, last name, salary, joining date, and department. So how we can insert the data in the table? For that purpose, we need insert into command. Okay. So use insert keyword, then into, and then specify the table name. So my table name is what? Worker. So insert into worker. Then what I want to insert in it, just specify the values. So insert into worker, then values, start the bracket and start writing the values of the different columns. And remember that always follow the same sequence. Like worker ID 001, then the first name of the person Monica, then the last name of the person Aurora, and then salary, then joining date and department. So you have to follow this sequence. Otherwise, what going to happen? It is generate an error, because if I write Monica first, so Monica will add insert into the work ID column, right? And in the work ID column, it required only the number data type, and Monica is what? It is alphanumeric, it is character type of data. So it will generate the error. So always follow a sequence to enter the data or insert the data. If you want to enter another row, so again use insert into worker, then values, and the second row. But here I want to enter all the rows in the same command. That's why I specify here a comma to separate the different rows. Like this is my one row, this is my one row, and then I'll put a comma, then the second row. Okay. So like this, we can enter our data into the table, right? So if I want to enter only one row, then copy this, go to the SQL command and type or paste this command here. So this is my only one row. I want to insert only one row. So put the semicolon here and then click to go. So you can see here, it will enter one row in the table. Okay. Now the second, you can use all the rows, you can enter all the row at once using comma. So how we can use this? Call the insert into, okay, then copy, go to the again SQL form and type the, sorry, paste and type the command. Now you can delete this first row because it is already entered. Okay. Now this is my one row, then I put a comma here, then this is my second row, again I put a comma here to separate the next row, this is my third row, and just click on execute or go. You can see now. So this is my record. Like this, using insert command, you can easily insert the data into your table, right? So for that, use insert into table name, then values keyword. So there are only 4 keywords: insert, into, table name, and then values. After that, you have to specify the all values in the bracket, separate by comma. And you have to remember that only numbers should be given here without single quote. Each and every other type of data like character or date, you have to specify single quotes or double quotes here. Okay, so only number should be without quotes, other all data type should be in the single or double quote. Okay. So this is the one part, how to enter data and how to create a table. This is the part one. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask me personal on the WhatsApp personal window.